Hey, what's up everyone, Johnny the Geek here, and today I'm going to be installing a solid state drive, 256 gigs, made by Crucial. Behold the power, the speed, the agility, right? So some features about this solid state is that aside from its large 256 gig, it ran about 525. I think we got it from Tiger Direct, I think it was. Don't quote me on that. But anyways, it has 6 gigabit speeds. Now, I won't actually be saturating those speeds in the device that I'm installing it in. I'm installing it into my MacBook Pro, but the MacBook Pro is only going to be 3 gigabits, right? So it's only utilizing half the speed that that drive is capable of. Some motherboards, though, they do have 6 gigabit speeds, and that you're looking at like really fast transfer rates, 200 plus megabytes per second. I'm almost guessing maybe more than that, double that. That's usually what it is, around the 3 gigabits transfer speeds. But anyways, I'll be installing it on this MacBook Pro. It's my work laptop that I use for various things like editing video and whatnot, and doing screencasts and video tutorials. So it's time for an upgrade on the hard drive. I want this solid state. I was also considering taking out the optical drive here, and they make this little bracket inside the optical drive to replace the optical drive with another hard drive, right? That's really cool. I might consider that because inside of here has a 500 gig 7200 RPM hard drive, and I might consider that. We'll see if I actually use the DVD burner that's built into here. I don't know. I don't think I can put the internal DVD burner here inside of an enclosure because it's slot loading. I don't know if they make slot loading enclosures, well, whatever. But yeah, so I might think about that. The bracket that they sell is about 75 bucks. I guess now, as if I'm changing out the hard drive and opening this up, now would be a good time to do all that, but whatever. I'll have to consider it later on. Anyways, the instructions that I'm going to be using can be found on ifixit.com. It's a great website. They are not sponsoring me at all. I'm just merely putting out there that they're a great website that has all kinds of manuals and guides on pretty much everything that Mac makes, all the products, laptops, iPods, iPhones, everything. They break it down. They have really good instructions, really good step-by-step pictures even. And what's also cool is that it's like they complete everything with having the tools for sale. If you don't have the tools, you can purchase the tools on their site. So they show you the tools that that's needed for this particular project, and it's a T6 Torx screwdriver, a spudger, and a Phillips screwdriver, and you know, they're like $5, a couple bucks that you can purchase here. They also sell the components like a hard drive, a replacement hard drive, or memory, or possibly even a screen. So you have to check. They have some things for the most part, but not always everything. But they also have the instructions available to download in various forms. Like they've got the PDF form here, a PDF form, an XML form, and an embed code, so you can embed the instructions, which is really cool of them to do. And this particular setup or installing of the hard drive that I'm doing is the MacBook Pro 13-inch unibody mid 2010 hard drive replacement, right? So it's not that bad. I've seen worse with other Mac laptops taking so many things apart, but looks like it's a an 8-step process. Alright, so we're gonna get right into it. Alright, so the first thing we gotta do is remove all of these tiny little screws here, and I've got a tiny little screwdriver to use. So I'll just go ahead and start removing. Do be careful not to lose any of your screws. If you want to jump ahead on this part, go right ahead. Whoa, this is a long screw right here on this right here on this top part. I'm assuming that the one next to it is also going to be a long screw. Yep. So make sure you remember that those two are long screws. Oh, the top three are long screws. I'm not sure why this one wasn't a long screw. It's quite odd. Let's see what the instructions say. Yeah. Said that there's 7 of these little ones and 3 of the longer ones. So these little ones are 3mm Phillips screws. The longer ones are 13.5mm Phillips screws. Now I need to pop this off somehow. So what I'll do is I'll just grab it from right here, kind of pry it open. Be careful that nothing falls, so I'll lay it on its flat. And I'll just open this up and release. And there we have it in all its glory, its guts and glory. Right, so I'm going to take apart these 2 screws right here. To get the brace off, this is step number 4 actually. Step number 3 is to disconnect the battery, which is right here. And they say it's a precautionary method or precautionary step to release this battery right here, this connection, so that everything is connected and that nothing is powered. And I'm probably going to follow their recommendations. It's a good idea. It's not a good idea to actually be using this particular tool. I'm going to see if I can find something plastic and not metal. Do not use something metal. And I don't know if I can find a piece of plastic. So I'm going to try to use this. And it's not thin enough. Great. That's just great. So I'm going to try to use this. Just gotta kind of wedge it in there. Right? So it's disconnected now. No power going through the motherboard. Alright, so now that I disconnected the battery, I'm going to go ahead and pull out the hard drive. And I got to remove these two little screws right here. Right? And by the way, I picked up this little tool set from the Home Depot, $5. Easy breezy. Right, so next what I gotta do is take this little tab right here, and I'm gonna pull gently, take it out, and you gotta be careful because right here, this right here, is a cable. See that cable right there? So you gotta be careful and we'll just rip it out. And to take this out, firmly hold it, kinda wedge your fingers in there, maybe your fingernails if you can. And you want to do it as evenly as possible. Don't just rip this out that way or rip this out this way. You can bend some stuff in there and you're going to break some stuff. So kind of just shimmy it out. Oh, a little bit more gentler than that. Right? So next we got to take off these little screws right here, and this is where you need the Torx wrench or Torx screwdriver. I think they're asking for a T6 something. I'm just gonna have to eyeball it. Grab the smallest one I got here. Hopefully this will work. Alright, it's going. Now, I'm not really doing this properly because I'm trying to show it on the camera, but you kind of want to just be flat on a table, nice and comfortable, so you don't strip things or break things. I'm kind of standing at an awkward position here for the camera to do this. Right. So there we have our extracted hard drive. This is the old 7200 RPM hard drive. It's a good hard drive, 500 gigs, 7200 RPM. But this is an even better one. Right? So we gotta put the screws back in. Pretty much everything from this point on is in reverse. Come on. I remember I once had to get a Mac hard drive out. Man, there were so many parts that I had to take out. I think it was like the power books. Alright, torque everything down. Alright, now I'm going to put the cable And there's really only one way you could put this in. It's slotted. Basically, the way you're looking at it, power on the right, data on the right, and power on the left. That's what it is here. It's two little slots. I'm just going to combine them together. Just press in evenly. Make sure it's in there good. And you're going to go at it at an angle, this angle first. Drop that in. Reapply the bracket. Right, now we're going to put the lid back on. Got the 3 long screws here. And don't ask me why the 3 long screws are like this, or it's 3 on this side. And then it's 1 short screw this corner. I'm assuming that the 3 long screws do more than just hold the lid to the case. It probably holds something else inside together. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and fire this up. And of course, I do not have a disc inside. So I need to take my recovery disc and I need to insert disc Mac OS X install DVD. So I'm going to power this down again, power it back up. What you're supposed to do is hold C down to boot from the disk. I can hear it spinning up now. Get the Apple sign, means it's booting from the disk. And it's good to actually have these disks, because if I were to install Windows on there, it has the drivers for this particular laptop. It'll have the Windows drivers built into it. Alright, so we are at the installation screen here, and it took the same amount of time. It was not any faster, but that's because it's only going to be as fast as your bottleneck, and in this case it's the optical drive. So the optical drive had to load up this installation stuff here, so don't expect it to be blazing fast just yet. Still have to rely on this optical drive, which is the bottleneck. So the first thing we actually got to do is initialize or format the hard drive, and to do that you go up to utilities up on top, and you go to disk utilities, and again this is accessing the optical drive. So the solid state drive is located here, and what we're going to have to do is partition this drive. So we'll go over and select the drive, then you click on partition, and then the volume scheme, we're going to have one partition, and I'm just going to go ahead and name it. And then I'm going to make sure it says GUID partition table. This pertains to Mac OS X hard drives. Then I'll click on apply and partition, and we'll see if this is actually fast. This is supposed to be fast. Usually it takes about, I want to say about 5 to 10 seconds to partition, so I want to see if this is actually the part that's fast. Yeah, it was pretty fast. It was about 2 to 3 seconds it took. But that was kind of a lame test. Alright, so now we're going to click on continue, agree, select the drive that we had just formatted, we'll go to customize, and for the sake of saving space I'm going to uncheck the X11 language translations. Fonts, I guess I'll leave there. These are language fonts, different languages. Actually, I'll just uncheck it. Printer support, uncheck. I will install my own printer. That's a good, I don't know, 4 or 5 gigs that I just shaved off there. So I'm just going to have the essentials. Click on OK. Then install. Oh, it's giving me a warning that it's not connected to a power source. I'm going to connect it to a power source now. So go ahead and click on continue. And now we wait.